Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about a shocking and dangerous incident that grabbed the world's attention. Venezuela reportedly attacked a US Navy warship, and what followed has sent shockwaves across global politics. This is not just another tense exchange between Washington and Caracas. This event is raising serious questions about regional security, naval operations, and how far each side is willing to go. The incident began when reports surfaced that a Venezuelan naval vessel attempted to intercept and harass a U.S. Navy ship operating in international waters. The U.S. ship, said to be on a freedom of navigation mission, was reportedly shadowed for hours before things escalated. According to military sources, the Venezuelan ship made aggressive maneuvers, coming dangerously close and even firing warning shots into the water. That single act crossed a red line, and the U.S. ship responded swiftly. The U.S. Navy is known for strict rules of engagement, meaning they do not escalate unless absolutely necessary. But this time, after repeated warnings to back off were ignored, the U.S. ship returned fire not to sink the Venezuelan ship, but to neutralize the threat. Sources say a precision strike disabled the Venezuelan vessel's weapons system and left it dead in the water. The crew was unharmed, but the message was loud and clear. The U.S. will defend its ships no matter who challenges them. This incident is not just about one ship encounter. It highlights the rising tension between Venezuela and the United States. Caracas has long accused Washington of interfering in its internal affairs, supporting opposition groups, and pressuring the government with sanctions. The U.S., meanwhile, accuses Venezuela of human rights abuses, corruption, and destabilizing the region through alliances with countries like Russia, China, and Iran. This naval clash now pushes those tensions into dangerous waters. Analysts believe this may have been a calculated move by Venezuela to show strength. President Nicolas Maduro has been under pressure domestically and internationally, and this kind of confrontation can be used to rally nationalist support at home. By targeting a U.S. ship, Maduro might have wanted to show his military is capable of defending Venezuela's sovereignty. But such actions carry enormous risk, as any miscalculation could trigger a much larger conflict. The Pentagon has released a statement confirming the incident, but emphasized that the U.S. does not seek war with Venezuela. They described the response as defensive and proportionate. At the same time, they made it clear that U.S. ships will continue to operate anywhere international law allows. This is part of a broader message to other nations. Challenging U.S. naval power comes with consequences. International reactions have been mixed. Russia and China, Venezuela's allies, condemned the U.S. for what they called an overreaction and a violation of Venezuelan sovereignty. Meanwhile, NATO allies largely backed Washington, saying freedom of navigation is non-negotiable. The United Nations has called for both countries to exercise restraint and avoid further escalation. For the people of Venezuela, this event could have serious implications. The country is already facing economic crisis, hyperinflation, and shortages of basic goods. A military confrontation with the United States could make things much worse. U.S. sanctions could be tightened further, and international pressure on Maduro could grow. On the other hand, some Venezuelans may see this as a patriotic stand against a foreign power and rally behind their government. Military experts point out that while Venezuela has a navy, it is nowhere near the level of the U.S. Navy. Any prolonged conflict would almost certainly end in a U.S. victory. However, Washington is unlikely to seek regime change by force, as that would risk a long and costly intervention. Instead, the U.S. may focus on diplomatic and economic measures to isolate Maduro while increasing its naval presence in the Caribbean to deter future incidents. This clash could also affect oil markets. Venezuela still has some of the largest proven oil reserves in the world, and any disruption in its exports could cause price spikes globally. The mere threat of instability in the region has already caused oil prices to rise slightly as traders worry about potential sanctions or blockades. For the Biden administration, this is a major test of foreign policy. It must show strength without dragging the U.S. into another prolonged conflict. How Washington handles this could set the tone for future confrontations, not just with Venezuela, but with other countries testing American resolve. In the coming days, we will likely see more statements from both sides, satellite images of the damaged Venezuelan vessel, and possibly even footage from the U.S. Navy ship showing the encounter. This could either calm the situation by proving that the U.S. acted defensively or inflame it further if Caracas uses it as propaganda. Ultimately, this incident serves as a reminder that global flashpoints are not limited to Eastern Europe or the South China Sea. The Caribbean and South America can also become arenas of confrontation where missteps could have serious consequences. The hope now is that cooler heads prevail and this does not spiral into a regional conflict that hurts millions of innocent people. What happens next will depend on diplomacy, pressure from allies, and whether both sides are willing to de-escalate. The U.S. Navy will continue its missions, and Venezuela will have to decide if it wants to risk another encounter. One thing is certain, this was a dangerous moment, and the world is watching closely